Let's give them something to talk about. How about love? Good morning. Welcome into another episode of Good Morning Nasdaq. You're live with me, Dom. That's Huddie, right here on the Clover Trading YouTube channel. It is 8:51 AM Eastern Standard Time on the 8th day of the 8th month of the year of our Lord 2024. Beautiful day here. Got a light drizzle this morning. A little chilly, cold front moving through. Would have been a great day to be in the woods if it were deer season. Hope everyone's having a great August so far. Hope you're having a great week. Hope you're sitting back, staying patient, being the best version of yourself. Everything we talked about Monday, I hope that is still continuing. Huddy, how we doing this morning?
We're good. I'm running a little bit under-tooled because Thinkorswim scanner is down. So
Oh,
you're gonna
no.
have to.
We're going to cancel the show.
I know you can just tell me what's up and we can go through it. We don't have to cancel.
I've been Zynga, so it
Nice.
is alive and well. There's only one gapper, really, so we're going to run with it. But before we do anything, I just want to make sure that you guys all know that you need to subscribe to the channel. It's free. It's easy. It's the only thing we ask of you, really, here is just hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. Get us over 5K. Look yourself in the eye this morning. Look at that subscribe button and go, if I'm here every morning and on Wine Wednesdays and I'm watching the show, I'm taking in the content, I'm laughing with the boys, and you're not subscribed, what are you doing? You know? What are you doing? So hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button as well. Get in the chat over there on the Clover YouTube chat and start a riot. Start talking. Bring up tickers. Comment on things. Say what up, Flo B. Say how's it going, Joseph. Say good morning, Mash for Fun. And let's all have a great day. Huddy, you want to have a great day?
I want to have a great day.
It starts with your mindset, okay?
It starts with hitting the like button.
It starts with hitting the like button, and then we can all have a great day. All right. Talk to me. So it's Thursday, Huddy. We had a great Wine Wednesday last night. We were rolling 5 deep. Me, Kyle, Huddy, Tim, Gratani, Jack Kellogg. You can always check those out if you miss them. I know a lot more of you guys are watching the Good Morning Nasdaq show just because you're probably here for work. And at nights, you probably have a life, unlike us. And we just sit here and talk stocks. But it was a great show. A lot of questions got answered. We had a lot of fun. And you can always check those out. They're not live on the channel, but if you go to playlists over on the Clover Trading YouTube channel and you go to Wine Wednesday, you can rewatch any Wine Wednesday you want. We've had a lot of special guests, so you might as well go check them out. And if you missed last night, I would go check that out. If you got an hour drive, something like that, tune in for some fun. Talk to me. It's Monday. We're down 4% in the market. Tuesday, we bounce back. Where are we at now? Now we're kind of bottoming and looking like we're going to bounce or go lower. Small caps have kind of gone up and down this week. We've had Lumen, which isn't really a small cap. With earnings, it goes to 10 and after hours. We've had INDO pop. Haven't really had many gappers. I think 1 or 2 max this week. Where's your mindset going into the second half of the week, and where's your focus?
Yeah, I think if we're looking at the S&P 500, we've kind of experienced 2 stages of volatile price action, which is you had that exuberance to the downside, which, resulted in a nice 3-day bounce off the lows, quite strong actually. And now after 3 green days, we kind of failed and we're pulling back and we're probably starting the process of a consolidation phase pattern. Whether up or down has yet to be seen and no one can really predict that. So I expect that to be reflected in price actions, right? I expect most things that, have been up or down in the past 3 days we'll be into some type of sideways, non-volatile consolidation patterns. Don't think we should see, again, like a lot of actionable plays right now. I think there should be 1 or 2 offset here and there, but for the most part, I don't expect volatility. We do have 1 gapper this morning coming from the cheap price range, which is kind of like more credence, like there's just not much going on. And I think, again, like my mindset is to be very hesitant behind the buttons that I push because I just don't think that most things are going to be considered A or A plus.
Very nice. Fantastic. And if you are someone out there who has been forced an issue, even though we've continued to give warnings and cautionary tales about staying in your lane, sitting back and waiting for charts to develop, still plenty of time left in the week, not necessarily for you to go balls to the wall and just start pushing a lot of buttons or to make back if you've been red and now try to find a way to get green. Try to focus on good habits, stuff that will take you through into the end of the year, into the end of 2025. Good habits last, and the quicker you can turn things around and get yourself focused on, your patterns, your strategies, your markets. The further you'll go before the next blimp. I don't think it's blimp. For the next moment in which you struggle, whether it's a drawdown or big loss or period of losing. All right. A blimp. Sure. A blip.
Blip. A blimp is a big hot air balloon.
Yeah. We love blimps.
We love blimps. We hate blimps.
All right. Biggest gapper of the day, Huddie tells me, is C, D, T. Let's head on over the tracker that also tracks dilution. And we're going to be looking at Conduit Pharmaceuticals, otherwise known as CDT. Float is 36 million, a biotechnology company coming out of the United States with 0.7 months of cash left. In 2023 was a recent de-SPAC with Murph. I honestly would have rather it been Murph. Murph's a dope name for a ticker. Murph. God, if they could get that runner going, we would have a lot of fun. News this morning on CDT 2 hours ago. Conduit Pharmaceuticals enters into an exclusive license agreement with AstraZeneca for multiple assets to advance potential first-in-class treatments. Why do I feel like we know what AstraZeneca is? What ticker is that?
Because it's a big company.
Is it a real one?
Yeah.
You know me and my real companies. Is it traded? Or is it just a company?
AstraZeneca is a multi-billion-dollar company, I'm pretty sure.
What's its ticker symbol?
AZI.
Oh, then I don't know what it is. It's just a dope name, I think. All right. What do you think about that news? How do you love it?
It's hard for me to love it. What this company does, which is kind of different than most biopharmaceuticals, they kind of tell you in their business practice that they don't necessarily go through the regulatory processes of, getting a drug to market, going through all the phase trials, getting FDA approval, et cetera, et cetera. They acquire companies that are already very far into that progress, and then they sell them, which is kind of different because I don't necessarily know how cash strapped they are, or if they really need their cash that they have. So I don't know. I'm kind of just uncertain about this one. Already trading 100 million shares in the cheap price range on some news that seems very correlated to their business practice in terms of what they do. So maybe they bought, a really good drug. This is kind of like beyond my scope. Like I just don't know that much about biopharmaceuticals to really have an understanding of whether this is like fluff news or good news. So it's probably just an avoid for me unless price action aligns. Right now, again, just a lot of volume trading on a pretty clean chart in terms of overhead.
Yeah. So what did we say? Recent de-SPAC last year. You can see that it since then has been quite uneventful. We had runs, but we're talking about 1 million shares of dollar volume, or like $3 to $5 million. Like this is just kind of it was an under the radar bouncing of this stock until we get to a last 100 days or so in what month are we in right now? In July, we kind of gap and crapped into the 40-cent area, topping out at 41.47, end up closing down in the 25s. I wonder if that's one we would have talked about or not. Has gone sideways ever since, down here in the 15, 16 cent area, and are gapping right into that 40-cent area, already doing more volume. Like we're over 100 mil right now. This is interesting. I don't really think of this as one that the daily chart's all that relevant because there really hasn't been any volume and really hasn't been any interest there. Let me see if I peep other news they've had recently.
Yeah, what happened earlier in July when they did have a gap up and failed on big volume?
What day is that? So they joined. They received patent approval for its lead asset targeting autoimmune diseases. So not even crazy good. They joined the Russell 3000 a month ago. But there's a lot of range on this chart. Even in the last 90 days here, the highs are in the $4 area and the lows are at 15 cents. And it's a 36 mil float, 34 mil in market cap. This is interesting because it's kind of technically a multi-month breakout over the 41 area. Also at 141% is probably interesting for a lot of people in terms of a gap and crap. So you kind of have multiple patterns here. Either, gap and crap shortened resistance, multi-day or multi-month breakout. I, statistically believe that probably the short is the one that is more odds to work, even, maybe not in the time frame that people have to trade it. Like if you have too tight a risk and it's not wide enough and you attack it too early, whatever, but odds do probably favor. And we do have some precedent from back here that this stock opens, barely spikes, and then closes significantly lower than where it opens. But this morning, the volumes are bigger than that, which is quite interesting. That's kind of the line in the sand I would draw. I probably wouldn't touch it for the first 30 minutes of the hour, see what the price action is like around 40 to 41, and just keep my eye on it. Low price stocks sometimes can sneak up and become the biggest runners of the market, especially when the market's not that great. They're cheap. They're kind of gambles. They're lottery tickets. And yeah, this is something that interests me more than most gappers in terms of the long. It's cheap. We have a clear breakout level. We don't have real resistance overhead. And we have some sort of news, which is apparently linked to a big company. We saw what happened when Serve had linked to a big company over the weekend a couple weeks ago. But 38 cent stock right now, the biggest gap of the day, going to garner the most interest. Probably is not going to have as many shorts as your $1 to $5 gappers do just because it's so low priced. But it is up 140% on the day, so I do think there's going to be a lot of people watching it. So that's my plan on that, is just to let it trade out for a bit and draw a line at 41 and see how that holds up. It's not one that I'm just going to buy 41 break right out of the gate, most likely. Conduit Pharmaceuticals. All right, where do you want to go next? There's a 45% gapper, GVP. Let me see. Which I don't really want to talk about. It doesn't look like a small cap. Low float. It is. Okay, we can talk about it. It's just a weird daily. GVP up this morning, 45%. 2.89 million float, up on news 3 minutes ago that they will be acquired. So it's just going to go sideways, correct?
Yes.
So GVP off the list, very quick and easy. Hey, let us know if that makes sense to you when, how do you explain to them the acquisition stuff?
I mean, apparently, just without looking at the ticker, the company got bought out for an agreed upon price. So that is why you get the gap up, and it's a buyout. So it's not really like trading. Like, we don't understand like what this value of this company is now. Like, we know, and so trading ceases, and it's just sideways for the whole day.
Yeah, and so if you show up and it's 8:30 and the stock had that news at 7 o'clock and you haven't quite got to the news, but you see that it gap from $4 to $5, and now the spread is within a penny and it's been sitting at $5 all morning, that's not a 25% gap. That is like a gapper that people are going to be looking to buy or short. Well, maybe they do if they're not educated, but price has kind of been set and it's just going to sit there, and you can kind of delete it from your list and move other things up in priority. The next one, would you say Weena is up 40% on the day? What happened here recently that we would have seen it? A new medical, 8.88 million float biotechnology company. Now a Nasdaq listed pharmaceutical company. So their recent uplist, I'm guessing. Let's see. Not a lot. So only been running around since July, early July. 4 hours ago, they announced patents issued in major Asian markets for use of genetic therapy in the treatment of Alzheimer's disease and ALS. SPAC warrants, recent de-SPAC. Not a lot going on here. What do you got going on the daily chart for me, Huddie? You're muted, or something's going on, or your mic. You are muted.
So Weena, I remember it from the last time it gapped up. I remember saying that it was uplist from the OTC markets. So, and that may or may not be true. That's just kind of how I inferred the information. And so with that kind of being my guiding principle here, like a lot of these companies that will uplist from the OTC markets also carry some really bad dilution with them. Just like, insiders owning shares from, when it was an OTC stock, so they could get some really cheap prices with the offerings. And so I never have trust in these. I never have faith in these because I just feel like they're doomed from the start. And that was my thought with Weena back on, 626. I remember shorting it that day and swinging it. And so now that it's coming back, I mean, it's not gapping up enough for me to really care about it, but I don't think it's going to do well. I just think that these companies that uplist from the OTCs, like I compartmentalize what these tickers are. This is an uplist ticker. This is like a pure avoid for me on the long side, just given the nature of what it is. I'd rather go play with traffic.
In traffic or with traffic?
With traffic.
Just like mess around, like look at it, laugh and stuff?
Something like that.
I hate traffic. No real interest here. You got bag holders from the day that Huddie's talking about on the 26th. Not a lot going on in terms of catalyst resistance, even just recently in the $2 area. It's only up 38%, so unless it does a big move here this morning for the next 23 minutes, don't think it's going to be very high on a lot of people's radars. Long perspective, short perspective, there's not a lot of meat on this bone. Unless it were to spike a bit, but then I would probably avoid it for a different reason. So nothing really going on here. That's why we try to really hone in and focus on the gappers that are up, 60 plus, 70 plus %, just because that's where a lot of eyes are going to be. And that's where there's actual range, what's the one we have today? Up 100 and something percent CDT. It's up 24 cents on like a 15-cent stock. That is pretty volatile. That's pretty rangy. Even though that daily chart candle doesn't look that big, it's a big move, and it's a lot of percents, and there's a lot of range, so that's interesting. But when we just kind of have these tiny little 20, 30% gappers, it's just like, you really got to ask why you're looking at them, and usually the answer is because there's nothing else gapping. Alrighty, got a good amount of you in here this morning. Make sure that you've hit the thumbs up button. I see we're almost to 50. That would be absolutely fantabulous if we could get over 50 by the end of the show. Make sure you're asking questions as well if you have any. JJ says we better have a party when we hit 5K subs. Who knows what we'll do? Could be nothing, could be something. Remember that. Got a couple questions on tickers we'll get to right now. Someone says Dom really has no clue what's going on ever. It's wild. That's my brother. I say someone because he'll take offense to it. But yeah, I don't know what AstraZeneca is. I've heard of Pfizer. They bring that up next. But yeah, I mean, shoot, I'm telling you guys, I'm not a professional short seller, but I really don't pay attention to a whole lot going on outside of small cap penny stocks. And I like it that way because I don't have to think as much. The more people think, I feel like it hurts them. You know what I'm saying, Huddie? We just like to not think and just play around with traffic.
I love that.
Sometimes we think a little bit and then we end up bagged in something,
Classic.
123 drummer Max 123 says 10x or LYT maybe first green day. I'm gonna go no already based off the fact that they were all gap and craps that didn't go that far. 10x went from like the $3 to the $5 area. Not even 100% move from its lows and didn't run or do anything. All it did was get pooped on. Maybe it's a breakout play going forward, and it did bounce yesterday. Did yesterday close green too? Yeah, so yesterday would have already been its reversal day. It closed significantly green. Nothing there. LYT, kind of the same thing here. 140 to 280, barely 100% move. Really want there to be so much meat on the bone for first green days or reversals that I can screw it up and still make $1 a share. This is, 50, 60, 70 cents away from the breakout level. Like there's you want me to risk $3 cents to make 20? Like I don't even know how to do that on this. So, and it's also a gap and crap that didn't run. It opened and farted all day. So no, thank you. I want runners. Give me runners for first green days and reversals, not just gaps that only crapped and didn't run at all. Jimmy is upset that someone called him someone. Markovic says, greetings from Amsterdam. Welcome in. What is it, middle afternoon for you? Thank you for being here.
It's probably 3 p.m., 4 p.m.
Someone said Sava number 5. What is number 5?
I think it's a green day. No? Yes.
Sava was more of a, if I can catch the first red day, because it's been kind of uptrending at 9 to 40, I'm happy. And I know Kyle did a good job. Huddie did a good job. They even, I think, nailed it yesterday for a second red day. then it's kind of like forget it exists as far as my brain goes. It's not your traditional runner. It's not very clean. Like the fact that it was so good, it was because of overextension while being kind of stupid. Being red, then green, green, then red, but all the while continuing higher and eventually getting extended. It's not like something we've seen like a Fifi where it goes from 5 cents to $4 in 3 or 4 days without going red. So there's no more patterns I would want to trade on Sava. It's thin. The volume is going to continue to drift here. And it just doesn't really fit the pattern because it's not clean. There's been a ton of time on this move up for people to get in and out, and I think it's a pretty crappy company as well. So I'm happy to leave Sava alone, and would have been happy if I caught the first red day and then moved on with it. Matthew says, if Lumen fails to break down today, would you consider looking to play long from the breakout given its recent history breaking out all the chatter about this ticker? 100%.
Absolutely.
You got to remember, I don't think so. If it fits a breakout, and let's say it looks like this candle later today or even up near 7, I most certainly would look just like this day back here where I traded it for a first red day. It ended up looking good and then looking better for a breakup by the end of the day. I follow the chart. I follow the pattern. If it wants to do the thing, and all it has to do to become a breakout is set a top, have one day where it doesn't break it, and then break it, I'd be very interested, especially because you have all that after hours. Like in people's minds, they're either don't have pre-market and after hours, and so in that case, your top is like, what time is this? Yesterday, $7.88. And if you do have it on, it's up near 10, which means if we did break out without it being on over the 770s, we have that $10 target as being resistance, but also a really easy conservative area for it to go to. So I am short overnight. So if that fails and it doesn't, I will be rooting for it to break out. And I would participate in it. So most definitely, patterns change on the fly. I don't get too biased one direction or another. It either works or it doesn't, and then I move on and wait and see what it does next. Someone asked M-Goal. What are we looking at? What am I looking at here? There's no run. You guys, I want stocks that are so interesting. Everyone was watching them. People were getting squeezed. People were making money long. People like, I want to trade this thing every day. Like M-Goal, I don't think anyone ever said that, even on day one.
Not even me.
Wait for real runners. Like when it comes to breakouts, when it comes to first green days, when it comes to first red days, if you just wait for real runners that are littering up the social media and the chat rooms, those are the tickers in coming days I want to be playing because that's where the volume is going to come back in. And that's like, well, they're actual patterns, like real runners, multi-day runs, big moves. Like if M-Goal had gone from 4 to 10 and was a big green day and it closed at its highs, then I'd look at it, even if it was a one-day runner. But like a day in which we gap up, barely go any higher and fade, who's coming back to trade that stock? Every time I do this, you guarantee that M-Goal will bounce big today. But I would not care because it's not a setup for me. Someone says, hey there, Tim. Neither of us are Tim.
Talking to Tim in the chat.
Oh. I'm like, been using trade 0. Okay. Justin Kirk says, swim watching for a run today on that bad boy. Never heard of the ticker.
Can't be that bad of a boy if I haven't heard of him.
You talk to me about it. You answer a question.
Me answer a question? I don't think there's really a question there.
All right. Yeah, you're right. We can get away with this. Okay.
This is what you're watching. Okay.
Very good.
Have fun.
Very good. All right. Well, that is the hour. Thank you guys for being here today. You got the like count over 50. I don't know where we're at in subscribers, but maybe we will do something. If we
maybe we will throw a party.
Maybe we'll, yeah, like a pizza party.
Pizza with yeah.
That sounds kind of fun. A pizza party on like a Wine Wednesday, and then maybe we give away something.
That's always fun.
I love a good giveaway. All right, so you guys might as well hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We'll be live again tomorrow, 8:45 a.m. right here on the Clover Trading YouTube channel. Tell your friends, tell your brother, tell your grandmother, tell anyone you can. You know, go to a big place and just start screaming about it. Get that subscriber count up. We'll continue to post content for you guys, and we'll continue to be live every single day that the market is open. We hope you're having a great week, and we as well will see you tomorrow. And all you Clovers, will see you in the room. If you want to access and get more educated with video lessons coming out every week, an archive full of 50 to 100 of them, as well as over almost 200 now webinars that are archived. Head on over to clovertrading.io. Get yourself in there and take your trading to the next level. Thank you, Huddie. Thank you, Dom. And thank you, all of you. We will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful, wonderful
Christmas.
Wonderful day. And Merry Christmas.